It's Wednesday, May 14th. I am an associate member of T3 Trading Group, which is an SEC registered broker-dealer and member of FINRA SIPC. All of my trades are placed through T3 Trading Group. You should carefully consider whether trading is suitable for you in light of your own financial condition. Position disclosure, I guess the biggest update is I'm out of my AMD long. I've been in that for a very long time. Did well with it overall. All right, let's jump in here. SPYs are trading down 20 cents from where they closed, so it's a 0.1% green day. Qs, where the relative strength is up 0.6% on the day. The IWM, where the continued relative weakness is down 0.8% on the day. Very notably, this TLT down 0.75%. Closing near lows of the year. Interest rates moving up. Will the market ever care? It seems like the IWM cares. Qs don't care. The dollar was green a little bit today. Gold is down. Gold lost support on the daily chart. Chart looks a little bit broken to me. And IBIT was interestingly red also. So I don't know if that means anything or not, but I felt like Bitcoin led us up actually, which was really weird. But I felt like it led us up in April in a lot of ways and held in really well on that move higher. And seeing it red today with the Qs holding in is interesting. This market, I throw my hands up in the air out of frustration, honestly. Day 3 to the upside, and we spent the entire day flatlined, which is just really crazy. There is a bid to this market, and that bid to this market will not go away. It just won't go away. We had a couple little downticks during the day that immediately ran into that bid and drove us back up. Couldn't break out either, but I mean, it's day 3 to the upside, 3 days in a row with just extreme extension here. Short-term tactical close in the red for the last 2. We'll see if short-term tactical close in the red again today. By tomorrow morning, I would assume. We spent the entire day consolidating, so a lot of times that could be enough to take it out. But we're also so extended and we were so deep in the red that maybe we're still a little bit in the red. So it'd be interesting to see if short-term tactical close in the red for 3 days in a row. But I mean, this market, very, very tight day today. Really just a bullish consolidation day in a lot of ways, though it could break down because of the amount of extension that we still have. It easily could give us, I think today was an inside day, right? Inside day for the SPYs, but I don't think it was for the Qs. And nor was it for the IWM. So interesting, right? Inside day for the SPYs, not for the Qs because it broke up, not for the IWM because it broke down. So that'll be interesting to see what happens with these SPYs if they give us an inside and up for momentum continuation despite the extension, or an inside and down because of that extension. So yeah, just a really, really tight, boring day. Again, completely flatlined. I'm trying to push this market. I really felt strongly about us getting some degree of a pullback today. I thought that we could see a little bit of downside, at least an intraday move with where we were with that day 3 up. So it's pretty gung-ho on the short side today, starting early on in the day. Really pre-market was when I had our first kind of bigger call out on the short side off of these 2 tails that came in. And then, of course, at the open, we broke that, so that shook anybody out there if they were using that as a stop loss. But I was really trying to be greedy on the downside on a couple of occasions today, and we just couldn't get it. I felt confident that the Qs would give us a move to at least like 515 or even 513, like 513 to 515 as a shallow pullback on this day 3. And we just couldn't get it. We pulled back to like 516 a couple times, and that was it. Never broke below that, which is unfortunate. I had some nice bids to cover some risk on shorts that I put on today closer to that 513 to 515 area, and just absolutely could not get it. This market's a monster. This underlying bid, I've almost never seen anything like it. And we even know that it's here, right? We know the data. We've been talking about the data every day. We've been talking about the positioning squeeze. We know the information. But even knowing the information, um, the way that we're holding up here is just mind blowing, if you ask me. So I don't really have anything else to say about it. Just a very tight, boring day for the spies and Qs, which is insane considering how big of a movement we've had overall. Maybe that has something to do with us coming into options expiration, which will be at the end of the week, and then maybe post OPEX we can open up a little bit. That's kind of my expectation, and I do think that we will slowly be losing some degree of the systematic bid as we get into next week as well. It's actually, from my understanding, less this week than it was last week, and should continue to be reduced. So we'll see. The big picture of this market is just too extended to do anything new still to the long side. It needs to reset up. If you're a real big bull on this market, which is understandable if you are, because we were able to recapture some major levels technically. So if you're a real big bull on this market, I get it, but you can't be chasing this day three to the upside with extreme extension. You gotta wait for the market to set up. A setup looks like a technical pullback. It looks like a bull flag, and then we can see if that continues into any sort of correction if it happens throughout this week, and then maybe next week if we can move around a little bit more loosely. 570 is the key spot. I think generally speaking, while we're above 570 in the spies, the technicals are telling us that you're better off being long than short. And if we lose it, that could be a real signal of a failed break higher that maybe gives us some sort of a bull trap and we can work our way lower. But for the moment, the short, if you're having that on, you're really just looking for a price correction of technical extension. And then you could see if that price correction could turn into something more. And just a price correction, a technical extension could bring the spies back down to 570. It could bring it down $17 and still have the market look healthy. And maybe that 570 is even a spot that you should buy on a retest of a previously important level that we just broke out from. You also have a really big gap there. If you're one of those people that believes that all gaps get filled, I'm actually not one of those people. But if you're one of those people that thinks that all gaps get filled, there's also a really big gap there down to that 570. So that's pretty much all I got. There really wasn't anything to talk about, continued relative strength from like the AI cohort, from the semiconductor cohort. NVIDIA giving a really, really big day three today, even as the market rested. NVIDIA up 4.5% on the day and making new highs on the day right now after the close. So that's impressive. So semiconductors just continue to be really, really strong, and that's where the leadership is. Some of these other names took breaks today. Meta took a little bit of a break today. Amazon took a little bit of a break today. But then Google woke up. So it's like everything else. Whenever it's like if something is weak in this market, then something else has to be strong. I don't know why Google was as strong as it was today. I don't mind it. I'm actually long the stock, so it was nice for me to. I was doing a lot of complaining yesterday about how I was getting destroyed on my shorts, but my longs were not moving up at all. At least today, I had a couple longs move up in my favor, along with the shorts continuing to move against me. But yeah, Google woke up today for whatever apparent reason, I don't know, but 165 is a huge level. So that's a spot that you can continue to pay attention to there. Tesla held in like a champion, gave like a big day 2, day 3, day 5, however you want to look at that chart. Really, really extended the upside, but still getting a lot of bull flow. So that bull flow tends to be not something you want to fight. But again, you can't chase these prices. That's the big thing. A couple things I would note. One is that the garbage is starting to wake up. Space, SPCE. I mean, this is the ultimate piece of garbage stock. Up 14% on the day. We saw like Rocket Lab waking up today. And the Rocket Lab chart actually looks great, by the way. Nice daily chart, technical breakout. Could give continuation. Up 12% on the day. You saw, I love that one, Tate. So RGTI up 18% on the day. So they're starting to wake up the trash. That's one thing I would note, because we tend to see that at the end of bull cycles. It's been actually a consistent signal for us, really going back to 2021, is that in any smaller time frame bull cycle when I feel like us as a team are starting to wonder like when's the pullback going to happen. Into that last leg, you usually start to see the stocks, the really garbage names, wake up and capture a bid. That's one thing that I would note a little bit of. I would continue to note this VVIX divergence. So VVIX closing on highs today, closing at $97. So I think that divergence is another potential signal that we should pay attention to. You're not seeing it as much in the VIX, but the VIX did close green today. It is possible to get vol up, spot up, so it's not impossible for the market to move higher with the VIX moving higher. But from my experience, when that happens, it usually can't last for too long, for too many days in a row, and we've seen it be a topping signal in the past. Um, and I thought I had one other thing that I wanted to note on that, but I can't really remember. So anyway, underneath the surface, I'm seeing some of these signals that we have seen hit in the past that have indicated at least shorter term tops of these sorts of big fast bull rallies. It's not an exact science, right? So it doesn't mean that the top has to be today or tomorrow. It doesn't even necessarily mean that it has to be next week. But those are things that are very notable for anybody that's looking to chase price action, which I'm not. So that's pretty much all I got. Again, just a really slow day on the intraday, so not too much to talk about with it. I'm happy to answer any questions. Um, this what a month continuation hammer and up feels trades like on smaller time frames. I'm not sure what you're saying there, Rich, which we did post last month before it happened. Okay. Continuation hammer. So continuation hammer. So you're talking about the monthly. Um, gotcha. Yeah, monthly chart. Yeah. Market's just been incredibly strong. Do you think we have to wait for post OPEX to short? I don't know. I really don't know. Options expiration has the habit of loosening up the market for us. With that said, I feel like there have been many months in the past where um, we've seen a front running of OPEX where we start to sell in front of it. I think even on the Feb OPEX day, we actually started to sell down on the Friday in February. We didn't wait for the Monday. We sold down on the Friday. And there are other occasions within the confines of some of the bull markets that we've been in where the market seems to expect options expiration to then deliver weakness, and then the market was front running it like the week before or several days before. So yeah, hard to say. Hard to say if you have to wait for Monday or not, or when that can happen. I really don't know. Um, I think the Wednesday before in Feb is when the selling started at Vixpiration. Uh, so the 21st was Friday. That was the big sell day. The 20th, we saw some selling. That was the Thursday. The Wednesday, the 19th, we closed at all-time highs. So that's what happened on that occasion. Do you think we could get a cool PPI tomorrow? I have no idea. Absolutely no idea. Your guess is as good as mine. I have no way to be able to predict these economic numbers before they occur. We just have to see. I'm better at predicting what the reaction will be after the fact, like before it happens, but what will happen with a reaction given circumstances. But I can't tell you what's going to happen before it happens. I can tell you that PPI tends to not give as big of market movements as CPI. There's been a couple of occasions where that hasn't been true, where the PPI seemed to compound on top of the CPI and it led to a bigger movement. But for the most part, PPI does not give us as big of a move as CPI does. I think do we also have retail sales tomorrow? Is that right? Retail sales might even be more important than PPI, though they both carry some degree of importance. So we'll see. And then we got on Friday that University of Michigan number, which is so dumb, but tends to really move the market. Just a survey. I think surveys are dumb. From Liam, how do you handle when to sell a stock like SEZL that has just gone parabolic and doesn't show signs of weakness? How to sell it if you're long, or how to sell it if you're looking to short? Um, if you're long, you should have had a game plan in place already for how you want to trade that, and you should follow that game plan. And I would assume if you're still in it from the 70s, that your game plan indicated that you were going to trail on a certain time frame. And if your game plan indicated that you should be trailing on a certain time frame, then that's what you should do. And if that's not the game plan, then you're probably not in the trade anymore. You probably already got out. So that would really, kind of might sound like a cop out of an answer, but I think that that's truly the best answer because everything we do should be based on rules. Everything we do should be based on the manifestation of those rules, which is our game plans. So um, that's what I think. You're gonna wait a while still for this ADMA to catch up to this pivot high. Sometimes it makes sense to sell stock into, just broader extreme extension to the upside, and you're kind of having that at this point. But we'll see. We'll see what it does next. So yeah, SEZL, a real wild one. I don't even know what this thing is. Sezzle. How did the IPO end up doing? What was the symbol? TORO? No. Somebody's got to remind me what the symbol was. TURO? No. eTOR. Thank you. eTOR. Not great. They opened it too high. Was it priced at 69? I think it was priced at 69, right? I wasn't planning on trading it, so I didn't watch it super closely. I watched it when it first opened. They upticked it. They opened it right like in front of that. I thought it was 72. They upticked it through it, and then turned into one that they sold down. Okay. Liam seems to like Sezzle. Over in the YouTube from Robert, I know today wasn't a day to buy the market, but let's talk in a vacuum for only today's price action. Okay? So let's look at the 5-minute chart just as an exercise and ignore the daily. Market QQQ between 9:45 and 10:20 provided big wicks from the bottom, something like climax. These lows, you mean? 9:45 to 10:20. Every time we tick down, we're ticking down into the never-ending bid that brought it right back up. Something like climax buying. Does it mean for you when you see climax pattern, there are a lack of participants in the market, less liquidity, therefore we are able to bounce fast to the upside, and oftentimes buyers come back to the low? I don't know if I would consider this like again, we're looking at the cues in a vacuum, so we're not looking at it with the confines of the daily chart. You're trying to tell me that this looks like climactic selling for a bounce back. I guess you got some okay volume on those tails, and clearly the chart is indicating to you that there are buyers who are just soaking things up on the bid and driving it back up. Again, we know that's just that endless systematic bid, it seems. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's enough extension down for me to consider that, even on the 5-minute chart. Like if it's climactic buying to the upside, I want to see like a bigger pull before I see that pattern come in. To me, this just looks like range bound price action, where you got sellers at the high of the range at resistance, you got buyers at the low of the range at support, and you're just bouncing back and forth between support and resistance, and it's pretty much all there is to it. Just reading the rest of what you're saying. Therefore, we're able to bounce back fast to the upside, and oftentimes buyers come back at the low of the wicks. Prices like 11 a.m., 1:30. Yeah, I really think it's just a matter of this is just a range. It's just a range market. Buyers coming in at the low of the range, sellers coming in at the high of the range. What else, guys? Anything else? I don't mind doing a quick one today. I feel like this market beat me up a little bit today, especially I got so frustrated when my internet dropped with less than 10 minutes into the close. I can't even describe how frustrated I was. I needed to liquidate some positions in those last 10 minutes, and I lost connection and couldn't reconnect until there was like 3 minutes left. I was losing my mind. So it kind of wore me out a little bit. So I'm happy to do a quick afternoon meeting, especially because there's not much to be said. We know what the deal is. We know what's going on with this market, big picture. Today was very, very boring and tight and sideways. So I guess we'll just do the quick one and end it there. Have a great night, everybody. I'll see you all tomorrow.